Alrighty, good afternoon, folks. It is Wednesday, July 24th. Quite a move today. ES and NQ, I believe, showing the most bearish day of the year so far. We came into the session wanting to see in ES essentially how price was going to be trading versus Friday's low. We did have a gap lower on the back of those Tesla earnings. Google earnings, sellers stepping in pretty aggressively in the overnight session. So it makes our main watch for the actual regular trading hour session pretty simple. We want to see how price is going to be trading versus that Friday low right through there. That's going to be a significant pivot. And if price breaks lower, we know that most likely it's going to trade into some of those downside levels of interest. We had the late June volume point of control right through there. And then key support down into that 55.10 area. No bid whatsoever. Price fails to hold. You get the move into the 54.90. And then if we actually take a look at the 4-hour chart, let me rescale this right through here. Coming into some more minor support in this area right through here. But note the volume void. Right, this is one of the key things that I had mentioned on NQ today, which we'll jump into in just a moment. These volume voids tend to fill very quickly. That was one of the things I had mentioned in this week's weekly kickoff, was that when price actually comes into these high volume nodes, you tend to see whatever move start to see some absorption, start to slow down a bit. Right, so the high volume nodes kind of act like a magnet. Once price dips into those volume voids, you'll tend to get those momentum moves. It's because you don't have a lot of market participation through here. Right, there's not a lot of activity in this area, so it's just going to trade back into wherever that nearest structure is. In this case, it's down into that 54.40 area. So as far as tomorrow on on ES, the main watch is pretty simple, as it usually is anytime we have a trend day or some type of significant structural break, some type of multiple ATR move. Speaking of which, let's take a look at what the ATR was today. We have a 2 ATR move today. Typical move is 62.6 points here. On ES, we're looking at 123 points for today's session. So for tomorrow, what we want to see is how price is going to be trading versus today's low. And that's going to be pretty simple. Just put a level right through there at today's low. As of right now, it aligns nicely with this pivot right through here, right? And we want to see, is that selling activity from today going to show any type of continuation, or is there going to be some type of retracement move? Now jumping over to NQ. So this was quite interesting. Again, what we have here is price trading into higher time frame support right through this 19,700 area, 19,800. Take a look at the open. What I wanted to see was how this Friday low is going to be respected. Now take a look at the actual open down and through that key zone, right? So you can see on my chart here, I do have Friday low. And then again, the key aspect here as far as this move was the fact that there was an unfilled gap. Take a look right through there. So again, same type of commentary on ES. We do have that fast move down through that volume void, down through that gap. So one of the things I had mentioned this morning is that if this key support actually does fail, you don't want to be a buyer until we start to see some higher time frame, meaning a 30-minute or a 60-minute reversal signal. And so that very simple framework, that type of rule, can keep you out of trouble on a day like today, right? You can totally avoid any type of longs, and either, if you are long only, simply not trade until you start to see again that signal that I'm talking about, or just watch for short opportunities. Because again, what we have once this key area of support fails is a much higher time frame structural breakdown. So why do you want to be grabbing longs once this key area of support is failing, especially down into this volume void? Right? So the market, again, offering a masterclass in structure as well as volume profiles and how price moves in relation to volume voids, high volume nodes, things like that. And so what we'll be looking at for tomorrow on NQ, very similar to what I just discussed on ES. We want to see how price is going to be trading versus today's low. Now, if that low fails, right, I'll be looking for that continuation move likely into this high volume node, 19K area. My expectation is that there will be some partial retracement, some type of inside day or something like that for tomorrow's session. We do have some larger economic prints tomorrow, so that'll be definitely something to keep an eye on during the pre-market session. But as far as support, take a look at this action right through here. Prior high, right through here. So would not be surprised to see some buyers start to step in on NQ. Again, if not, you want to be ultra patient with any type of longs. Because again, zoom out and start to look at where are these pivots? Well, way down into here, right? Way down into here. So pretty large move today. We definitely have some structural breakdown on the higher time frames. That is something that we'll be keeping an eye on in the days and weeks to come. Speaking of which, let's jump over to the weekly chart. So you can see big weekly continuation there, right? Following that exhaustion bar from a couple of weeks ago. Let's take a look at the monthly. So monthly again with the big wick up there. And on ES, still 7 days yet before the month actually closes, but look at that action there. So caution is definitely going to be warranted. I don't think that this is going to be a short-term thing. When you have this big type of structural breakdown, typically it's going to take some time, and not just a couple of hourly candles or something like that. We're going to need some days of reversal signals, base building, all the normal things we like to see. So again, I know a lot of you focus on the long side, so just keep that in mind because conditions have definitely shifted. So you want to be staying nimble, making sure you're getting involved with good location, making sure you're trading with higher time frame structures. Otherwise, a day like today is just going to crush. So I hope that helps out. If you guys have questions, feel free to shoot me a DM. To simplify for tomorrow's session, main watch is going to be today's low on both ES and NQ. Have a good afternoon.